All right, let's talk about something huge. Today, we're diving into the brilliant ideas from Brianna Weist's book, The Mountain Is You. And really, it's all about tackling that one thing that gets in almost everyone's way at some point, self-sabotage.
You know that feeling, right? That frustrating feeling, where it seems like there's this huge gap between where you are and where you desperately want to be. And it feels like you're the one putting up the roadblocks. Well, Brianna Weist says this isn't just bad luck. It's almost always self-sabotage at work.
And this quote right here, this is the heart of the whole book. It's such a powerful metaphor. Basically, our biggest challenges, our mountains, they aren't just random things that happen to us. They're actually formed by an internal clash. You've got one part of you that's ready to go, ready to achieve, and another part, a deeper, subconscious part, that's pulling on the brakes for some reason.
So the book's first major insight completely reframes where we should be focusing our energy. It argues the true battle we're all facing isn't really out there at all.
You see, the real mountain, it's inside you. It's built from our old habits, our deepest fears, and all those limiting stories we tell ourselves. And you know what? That's actually amazing news, because if the problem is inside you, well, so is the solution. It means you have all the power to start climbing.
So, to climb this mountain, we first have to understand what it's even made of. And that means we have to completely reframe how we think about self-sabotage.
Instead of seeing it as some kind of character flaw, Weist says self-sabotage is actually a survival mechanism. It's this kind of clumsy coping tool our mind uses to try and protect us from potential pain, even if that protection is exactly what's keeping us stuck.
This is such a crucial shift. I mean, we're so used to beating ourselves up, right? Thinking we're just lazy or weak. But the book argues it's not a flaw, it's a signal. Your self-sabotage is like a messenger trying to tell you that an old wound needs your attention, or a deep need isn't being met.
So, if it's a signal, how do we learn to recognize it? Well, the next step on our climb is to get really honest about identifying the specific behaviors that show us the mountain is at work.
Do any of these sound a little familiar? There's perfectionism, where you're so terrified of not doing it perfectly that you never even start. There's resistance, procrastination, which is usually just fear wearing a different outfit. How about uprooting? Always jumping from job to job, place to place, never letting yourself get settled. Or maybe it's suppressing your feelings to avoid pain, or choosing relationships that hurt just because that kind of pain feels familiar, and familiar can feel safer than the unknown.
And here's the key takeaway. Just seeing these patterns, being able to name them without judging yourself, is the most important step, because you really can't change what you don't acknowledge. That awareness, it gives you back your choice.
Okay, so we understand the mountain, we can see our patterns. Now what? Let's get practical and talk about the tools the book gives us to actually make the ascent.
All right, 4 really powerful tools here. Number 1, disconnect action from feeling. Your feelings are often just echoes of the past. They don't define what you're capable of right now, so act even when you don't feel like it. Second, release your emotional backlog. All those feelings you've pushed down have to go somewhere. You have to process them. Third, learn to tell the difference between instinct and feeling. Instinct is your body's immediate response to right now. Feelings? They're often just reactions to scary stories we imagine about the future. And finally, and this one is a game changer, embrace micro-shifts.
I love this quote because it's just so freeing. It takes all the pressure off. We think transformation has to be this one giant lightning bolt moment, but it's not. It happens in the tiny, consistent changes you make every single day. One small choice, repeated over and over, that's what builds momentum and eventually moves the entire mountain.
So what's the whole point of this climb? What's really waiting for us at the top?
See, the point isn't just to solve a problem or get to a specific destination. The true summit is self-mastery. It's all about the character, the resilience, and the wisdom you build during the climb itself.
And a huge part of this is redefining our goal. Our culture is obsessed with chasing happiness, but that's often tied to external things and can vanish in a second. Wyman's theory argues for something way more valuable and lasting, cultivating inner peace. This is a stable, internal contentment that isn't shaken by the outside world, because it comes from truly knowing and accepting yourself. And this really brings it all home. One day, the mountain that feels so huge and impossible right now, it's going to be far behind you. But the person you become in the process of learning how to climb it, that strength, that self-awareness, that's going to stay with you forever. And that is the whole point of the mountain.
So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. After everything we've just explored, what's the first micro-shift? the very first small, manageable step you can take today on your own personal climb.